Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter and Ezekiel Trezevant. We are your Las Vegas Raiders beat writers on SI. Great to be with you. We're literally moments ago, we're still sweating. Practice ended, interviews ended, and it was the Raiders versus the 49ers. And I had a ton of stuff that stood out to me. I know it stood out to you. We purposely weren't together, because we're watching all different sides of the field. We want to give a quick shout out. We got to meet so many of you today, take pictures of so many of you. Four names in particular I remembered was Wes, Reggie, Andrew, and Raul. And Raul brought a young man from New Jersey
Okay.
to his first Raider event. Got a chance to introduce him to Raider Nation. I hope that young man enjoyed it. But thank you all for being here. Over 2,000 people were there today. And I'm going to tell you something. Even though the practice started at 8:30, it was blistering hot from the first moment. Agreed.
Yeah, we're definitely in the desert, man. It's hot as can be out there for sure.
And it has not been a bad camp.
No, no,
But oof, today was a scorcher.
for sure.
Today, I even think I lost 30 pounds. People were walking up to me with spoons and forks. They thought I was serving sausage and gravy because the fat guy was sweating. But oof, it was brutal. Um, let's just start with a couple of things. A guy who I thought, and listen, I thought several people had great days.
Mhm.
I don't know if this guy's had a better day, and I don't think anyone had a better day than him today. Caillou Blue.
Yeah, yes.
This young man, I'm telling you now, I think he's past Greedy Vance. Um, yes, I think he's past Greedy. I think Caillou's on the fast track. If he just keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to make this roster. But Caillou Blue, the youngster out of Stanford, so impressed with him today. And going against top 49ers, that's what the thing that stood out to me is Patrick Graham was like, all right, young blood. All right, I'm gonna give you some shot against some good ones.
But to that point, the reason that he got that shot is because he's been growing through pretty much every practice. He's kind of growing. You see it every day you go out there. A couple of practices ago, Pete Carroll kind of took him aside and said, "Hey, calm down. You're good, right?" We kind of coached him up a little bit. Ever since then, it's just been through the roof. Caillou's impressive. I like his intensity. I wanted to ask him that when we spoke to him yesterday, but a lot of questions were asked. But you can tell that something, and I really want to ask him that something else is driving him. It's bigger than, hey, I just want to make the team. It's bigger than I want to play football. Something drives him. He has a very controlled intensity that I really like, and it shows through his play. So good things to come from him this season.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the youngster, and I have been these last several practices. But Pete said today, because we talked to Pete about it, it's been 6 practices where he's elevated. I've noticed the last 3, but I'm going to tell you something. Today, there was good cornerback play by the Raiders.
Mhm.
I don't think anybody outplayed them. Do you?
No, no, the cornerback showed up. I mean, they had times where obviously, I mean, it's a practice, right? And you're
And there's
practicing
hundreds of reps.
exactly. You're going to get beat, but overall, I was definitely keeping an eye on those guys, and they looked like they won.
All right, let's talk about a guy that we talk about briefly every practice, but Brock Bowers today, there was one point where he made, I mean, it was a window. I was standing there with the NFL legend, Kadri Ismail, and I was, Kadri's a buddy, and him and I are sitting there watching. And we were with Baron Davis, too. The three of us were standing there. And it was probably, Zeke, I'm going to guess, an 8-inch window between the sideline and the defender.
Okay.
And so normally you just want the receiver to catch the ball, get his feet down, and get out of bounds. Brock caught it. Now, remember, we're talking about an 8-inch window. So, first of all, the throw to get it there was a miracle by Geno. And we asked him about it. And then he catches it, which was a phenomenal catch with great defense. And then somehow, foot in the ground, gets hit by the defender and still gets upfield and scores a touchdown. I don't even know. I quit counting it like 4 or 5 plays. And it was so bad at one point, the San Francisco first stringers were like,
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of people are going to be like that this season when it comes to Brock because Brock has gotten better, not just on the field, but in terms of his body. I think that's what's going to help him here. The reason he can turn up the field a little bit better now, which he was always good at doing, but the reason he can do it better now is he weighs a little bit less. So he's a little bit quicker, he's a little bit faster. So when he puts his foot in the ground, he's going to cut up and go up there fast, but he can still take a hit. He's still sizable up top. So Brock is special, man. Brock is doing what he does, but you love the fact that anytime he catches the ball, he's trying to make a play and he quickly starts going north and south. It's like you could tell, okay, let's go.
he's a gazelle.
Yeah, 100%.
I would describe it this way. He is a gazelle in a lion's body.
Yeah, it is.
That's just criminal.
Yeah.
To be the size that he is, the speed,
Yeah. I told somebody the other day about Brock, and no disrespect to the Travis Kelce's or the Jimmy Grahams of the world, but there's a time when those guys were really trying to emphasize, hey, I'm just as much of a receiver as I am a tight end. I think Brock is going to be that guy that those guys were trying to say that they were. Give him a couple more years in the league. Talk about tight end receiver hybrid. Who's going to be better than Brock?
Yeah, who? I don't even know. I got to tell you, you kids use a term called "he is him."
Yes, he's him. He's definitely
He's
him.
him.
And Brock has been him. I think that's one thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Give me credit that I knew a term that you
hey,
didn't
hey,
teach me. You are my kids.
always caught me off guard. That caught me like I wasn't expecting that. So excuse me. When he said he's him, I wasn't expecting that in this conversation. So yes. Listen, Brock, and like I was saying, Brock has always been him, right? Like that's the thing is that a lot of players you want to see kind of grow and develop, and Brock is doing that. Don't get me wrong, but Brock has been doing it. So sky is really the limit for Brock Bowers.
We have to talk about same guy, same situation, Jacoby.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there with Kadri and Barron. Okay, obviously Barron, tremendous pro athlete. Kadri, same, and then a big dummy like me. And we're standing there talking, and Kadri turned to me and said, I can't believe there are Raider fans that say Jacoby is not a WR1. I mean, he literally goes, what are they thinking? And I told him, I have no clue. Anybody making those comments clearly isn't here and clearly doesn't know football because that guy, every day, you heard me, I asked Pete, I said, Pete, all he does is be great all the time.
Yeah.
How blessed are you to have him? He's like, yeah. I mean, we talk about him, Colton, but I mean, Max, whatever. But Brock, Jacoby today against the best coverage for the 49ers. And listen, I don't think the 49ers are a real good football team. I think they're okay. I don't think they're a great team at all. Pretty equal, I think, to the Raiders. But those are some good defensive backs on him.
Yes.
And he just made it look easy. Separation, catches. He doesn't drop anything, and there's no drama. Please help.
Well, so not to cut you off, but I think that the very last thing you said is it answers your question, right? I think the fact that there is no drama. I think the fact that he is quiet. He just lunch pail kind of guy goes to work and goes home, does his job, then goes home, and doesn't tell you a whole lot about it. Especially from the wide receiver position where it is known, right? It's just common for your wide receiver one to be, kind of out there, right? Big and boisterous, if you will. And Jacoby's such the opposite that I think it kind of, and not just with Raiders fans. I think it goes across the league, right? I think because he's not a very vocal guy, people don't really give him the proper due. But if in terms of what he does on the field, the hands speaks for themselves. Another thing that I've always liked about Jacoby, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Pete referenced it today. I'm sorry if I got it wrong, but he was talking about how Jacoby can improvise. It's hard to defend a guy that's not. He runs the route. Don't get me wrong, but when he starts to improvise, there's no textbook on that, right? It's kind of whatever the guy's doing. So I think Jacoby does really, really, really well in that. And then you add the fact that he's catching everything that goes his way. He's nice, man.
Yeah. In football, there's a term. It's called plaster. And it's when the play breaks down and the quarterback's scrambling, you want your defenders to get up on the receivers to plaster them like plaster on a wall. You can't plaster him.
Yeah, no.
He's like the Teflon kid. I was talking to one of the 49ers coaches who I know really well, and he just said to me, he goes, Jacoby and Brock, man. And I'm going to say this. The difference between the two of them is probably 25 pounds and pigment.
Yes. No, that is real. In terms of Jacoby, I like his game. I like what he brings to the table. And another thing that I think is going to really help him this year is in terms of plastering, right? Is that when he does get open, those holes are usually not there for very long. Now he has a quarterback that's going to get him the ball. Same right, going to get him the ball right on the money. So that's going to be huge. That's so many more yards that's going to get added and receptions that's going to get added because Geno's going to be able to get that ball in those split-second holes that are there. Listen, Jacoby, Brock, Michael Mayer, those are three guys I'm expecting to have great seasons. You got to think like how these guys have been impacted by the quarterback situation, by the offensive coordinator situation. Those two things are huge, and they've been what we believe is fixed. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do this year.
All right, again, we're sticking on the obvious. We got to talk about Geno Smith.
Yeah.
He had one bad throw today. Out of how many? Maybe 125 throws?
A bunch, yes.
And one.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
He put the ball, I'm going to guess, 12 times, 13 times in tight windows where guys were covered.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I turned to Baron Davis and I just go, the ball just comes off his hand. It's just so smooth.
Yeah.
And we got to give him credit. And then one guy, and we're going to stay on Geno, but one guy who started out poorly,
Mhm.
Trey Tucker.
Yeah.
And Trey's first year, he dropped too many balls. In year 2, he fixed that to his credit. He'd get open and they couldn't get him the ball.
Mhm.
First, and this is the first time I've seen this in a long time. Trey dropped a couple of bombs that he was open on early. And this was what was really cool. Geno runs down the field, taps him on the head, talks with him for a second,
Mhm.
and then the light came on.
Yeah.
And Trey Tucker lit it up. He had massive touchdowns. And so who cares if you have a bad first 20 minutes of practice when he hasn't. So this is not a pattern with Trey. But everyone's going to have a bad day. But Geno's leadership.
Mhm.
And I asked him today, I said, Geno, everyone knew you were a good quarterback. But I didn't know how good of a leader was. And he goes, I'm not really looking for that recognition. I don't know if I'm underrated or not. He's underrated. He is a great leader. I love your input.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll start with Trey. I personally expect big things
Huge.
for Trey this year, and I think Trey expects big things, not just big things, but a career year for him. So he's putting that pressure on himself. And I think and for all of us to see Geno run over there, Geno knows that Trey's putting that pressure on himself, and they've been working. Those two specifically, they've been working a lot. So I think, and you've been seeing the progress, right? You've been seeing the timing where they're throwing the passes, and maybe the timing's a little bit off, passes a little bit off. Those are starting to go down. So I think Trey was being a little bit tough on himself because he's seen the progress, he's felt the progress, but he didn't come through. What I also liked about Geno is he didn't overdo it. He went over there, made it quick, said what he had to say, and he got out. Because overdoing it in that situation is just as bad as leaving Trey, to his own thoughts.
Yep.
That shows leadership. That shows experience too, right? To know just what to say, how much to say, and what not to say, and move on. So it was good all the way around. You see these guys coming together, even when the plays don't necessarily work. You see these guys coming together, and you see the care. You see that these guys want it, and that's huge for me.
I made a comment on yesterday's podcast. Fantasy football, just get Trey Tucker.
Oh yeah.
Just get him. So
Michael
this
Mayer
is
too.
yeah. This is not a statement of Trey's family. He just had a bad first part of practice. It's not the end of the world. He's had a great camp. I set that up to set Geno up. I want to talk about Ashton.
Yeah.
Today, I was talking to someone from the 49ers, and they go, "Oh, you can see it." Maybe you disagree because I think he's had some really good practices. Today, he looked like what they thought they were drafting.
It's going to be a special surprise. Listen, there was one play, and I think it's probably the play that he made, probably the biggest play he made all day. There got to a point where the defender turned to chase him, and when the defender saw that he was chasing number 2, the defender was just like, "There's no need for me to run because I'm not going to catch him." I literally saw it in the defender's face. So, in terms of seeing it, it is, and I think I told you yesterday, I still think there's another 2 or 3 or 4 gears for Ashton to get to.
He's only a rook.
Yeah, we saw him turn it up a gear today, and you see the vision, right? I think like you were told, everybody can see the vision. You don't have to be a football novice to look at Genty and say that's probably going to work. That's probably going to be nice. So I'm excited. Everybody should be excited. Genty's going to turn things around in terms of the rushing game for sure.
Nobody should be concerned about what they saw last week.
Oh no.
No.
We're talking about Genty talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, guys, stop, please.
Yeah.
Please.
You saw a couple of rookie offensive linemen in there that made some mistakes, and they just got them out.
Yes.
But let me just be whatever you need me to be for a minute. Ashton's going to be fine,
Good.
and I bet we don't see a whole lot from him come Saturday.
I don't think we'll see a whole lot of them until the Patriots do. Sorry, but yes, I listen.
I think the Patriots are going to get a full frontal attack.
Yeah. And listen, he's gonna have his issues, right? He's still a rookie. He's still a rookie, and he's playing running back, right? And guess what? Every team he plays against is gonna have eyes on him. So there's gonna be some hurdles there for him to get over. But once they start putting it together, which they're already doing, man, good luck. Good luck.
All right, I saw today the best performance by this offensive line that I've seen in my 6 years of being here.
Okay.
Phenomenal. They were dominant. They absolutely, and remember, this wasn't even full contact. I mean, tackling.
Yeah.
It was to contact, but not tackling. I thought the offensive line today looked sharp.
Yeah.
I thought they even Gino was bragging about all the time he had. I thought it was again a great performance. Now they just need reps together.
Yeah.
They need some. If I'm Pete Carroll and I'm going to play my starters, I'm not playing Ashton much. All right, I probably wouldn't play Colton. I would put Thayer in there.
Yeah.
But even if I said to my offensive line, "You're playing the first half," I mean the first quarter.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on them today?
Well, listen, they look great today. I mean, they're opening up holes, and I think out of everyone, they were the most excited to be going against another team. I really do. If I had to gauge it, like you could tell that they were ready to see somebody else, them over everyone else. Everybody else was happy, don't get me wrong. But the offensive line was like, hey, let's get to it. It's tough, and it has been tough to kind of grade any offensive line through this point in the season. You really just don't get much. But after the day, you kind of see everything come together. You see the holes opening up. You see some plays not working out, right? And you also see the Raiders getting their bread and butter in and it working against another team. So that's only going to make those guys more confident. That's one thing I noticed today was those guys seeing, hey, this play worked against the 49ers. It's been working against our defense. Maybe it's going to work against anybody we play, right? So just seeing that confidence get built from the offense was great today.
I'll tell you another thing that stood out to me, Zeke, was Dylan Parham today got mad.
Yes.
Okay.
I noticed that too. Sorry, guys.
I love now. Everyone knows I love Dylan. I have a great relationship with him.
Yes.
You and I both do.
Dylan is very relaxed. He's a very chill dude. That's what I'll say. Let's give you some insight. Dylan Parham is a very, very intellectual dude, very relaxed, very chill, very easy to talk to. So
he would love to talk to you about three techniques and Pythagorean theorem.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
I fully expect to walk over there one day and catch him trying to solve pi.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean that you just have to understand Dylan, super smart kid, and we love him.
Yes.
So he got mad today, and it was just like,
yep.
All right, that's it.
Yep.
And the rest of the day, he was a little chippy.
Mm-hmm.
There was no fights. A couple of skirmishes, little something, little love taps.
Yeah.
And
it was hot.
He sent a message, didn't he? And then the other guy that I was really so Jordan Meredith had this play where he's blocking the guy, and the guy's Jordan's literally pushing him. The guy lost his center of gravity. Jordan's going down, and he just right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
100%.
Hope you're wearing a mouth guard.
100%.
And I thought, Jordan.
Yeah. That's what they need. That's what you.
This offensive line needs that. They're hurting. And I thought, all right, Jordan, I see a little Richie Incognito in you.
And it was across the board, right? Like definitely across the offensive line, but the team itself, the intensity that I saw today from the guys, I don't think I've seen it this training camp. But again, I think that plays into, hey, we're competing fully now, right? We're going against some other guys. I think that just fed into the energy of the day. But yeah, when Dylan got mad, I was shocked. I was like, is that who I think it is? But yeah, and then you got to think like when one of the most relaxed people on the team gets going, that gets everybody else hyped up as well, right? They're like, well, Dylan's getting, so it just everybody feeds off of it. So today was a good day. Today was a great day.
We got a lot more. I'm going to tell you this. I thought today was the best performance blocking I've ever seen from Michael Mayer.
Okay.
He looked like an offensive lineman. There was a play where the ball gets to Jacoby, and Jacoby makes a great catch. Gino makes a great throw, and Jacoby just turns it up, and Michael Mayer leveled. Now, I say leveled. They're not tackled, so he drills the guy. And then if he had not held on to the 49er, the 49er would have went to the ground.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there were 3 or 4 times I'm like, and again, at one time, I hate to keep repeating this, Kadri Ismail looked at me and he goes, I see what you're talking about, because he was just, Michael Mayer was out there today. He looks like the kid they thought they were getting from Notre Dame.
Yeah, listen, go look at all the records that man set at Notre Dame in terms of tight ends. You don't just get to the league and forget how to play football, right? He just hasn't been in a great position up until this point. This is the best position he's been in terms of in the NFL to succeed. What we've seen from him, like you said, this is what everybody expected from him when he entered the league. I'm excited for Michael. That's why I'm like he'll tell you. I'm very excited for Michael because he's just a good person. He's a good dude, but he's a talented guy, and not just talented. He was one of the best tight ends in the draft coming out that year.
He was the best,
right? The best, right? So it speaks for itself. Let's see him take that next step, and it's starting to permeate through everything he does, whether it's blocking, whether it's running routes, whether it's catching touchdowns, whatever it may be. You said fantasy they should draft who?
Trey Tucker.
Michael Mayer too.
Yeah,
Michael Mayer, touchdown guy. He's gonna get.
He's fun. All right, I want to talk about a guy that you and I have talked a lot about. He started practice, and in the first 15 minutes, he had 2 bad throws.
Okay.
Okay. The rest of the game, he looked like a QB1,
Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. I was so impressed. He started slow, and I thought, oh. And then here it comes. And he played like a QB1. And I understand most of the people out here, yeah, we don't care until we see it. And I get that. I don't blame you. If I was a fan not here,
Mhm.
I'd be like,
I want to see it.
I want to see it too.
Yeah.
I'd be almost like, even though I'm from Michigan, I'm from Missouri.
Mhm.
You got to show me
You
still.
got to show them.
And I get that. I understand that. But it doesn't change the fact that that young man, I mean, he ain't Geno, but he looked every good as good as Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said Dylan got mad, got a little upset. I felt like after Aiden got off to that start, he got a little mad and he got upset. And we told you how chill Dylan was. Aiden is probably more chill than Dylan. Okay. So when he finally, and not a bad upset, right? I think I've heard the saying, play with emotion, don't play emotionally. I think that's where Aiden was. He wasn't letting his emotions get the best of him, but it was okay. Let's lock in. Let's show what I got. And he did it, right? He did it. So now what we need is the next time we see him, whether it's preseason, whether it's regular season, again, keep taking steps. So progress is good, right? And sometimes with progress comes bad plays. Aiden didn't have many of those today.
All right. So I'm going to use a term. I think you know what it means.
This can go a lot of different directions.
But because me and us people who are 45 and older, I'm 54, you guys call us the OGs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That means original old guys, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Old guys.
Old guys. Yeah. So anyways, so is it OOGs then? Original old guys or just OGs?
Just OG.
Okay.
Yeah, OG.
So let me talk to you for us OGs. You talked about Aiden being chill.
Mhm.
All right, old people, give me an amen in the comments. He's George Gervin.
Iceman.
You knew who George Gervin? Boom! See? Get out the way! Get out the way! Get out the way! Boom!
Listen, off the top of the dome right there. I'm sorry.
You know who George Gervin is?
Yeah.
I used to have a poster.
Eastern Michigan, no?
I used to have a poster of him on my wall sitting on an ice
thing with the
and
ice.
all it said was
Yeah.
the Iceman.
Yeah, that's great.
I had him and Bo Derek coming out of the water. It's a poster that every kid of my age had. All right, let's go talk about. I'm going to talk about 3 defenders.
Mhm.
Then I got 5 more things to talk about. I'm going to tell you who I thought had a wonderful day. Now, you were over watching the offense. I was over watching the defense. Chris Smith. And I know that even though you're from Michigan, you're a Georgia Bulldog guy. Chris Smith, that kid is just having a great camp. And he made a play today on a top wide receiver for the Niners. And I have not seen him play like that since Georgia. That young man had a big, big day.
Trusting himself more, right? He trusts himself more. And I think that comes with being in the league for a couple years now. And, I think a lot of people underestimate that jump, right? Even if you went to a great school, you won a national championship, you're a great player, you're still taking a jump from college to the National Football League. So he's kind of had to wait his turn. I think he's excited for the opportunity. I think he feels like he has earned the opportunity, which he has, and he knows how important this is, and he must take advantage of it. Overall, though, he's been quicker from what I've seen. He's not second guessing himself as much. I think last season he was a step off. Whenever you see him, he'd be a step away. Now it's like instead of a step away, it's like a 0.25 of a step away, right? And sooner or later, it's going to be no steps away. So Chris has been making progress. Excited for him this season.
Right. I want to turn to another guy because this is a guy, he's an American hero. I root for him. I want him to do well. I think he belongs in the NFL. He's only a second-year guy, so he's not even in his 1 year. Trey Taylor had the best performance that he's had as a Raider today.
That's good.
And he got in there and he showed his toughness, would not back down. Had a couple plays where he got beat and then came right back. Trey Taylor today was the first time since he's been here.
Mhm.
And I think he's been playing better this camp. But today was the first time where I said, all right, I see you, young bud. You belong in the NFL.
Mhm.
Now, he's got to turn 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 practices. He has to start stacking them.
Yes.
But you saw it today.
I think he's one of those guys that needs reps. right? A lot of these guys, they just need the chance to do it, right, and do it over and over and over and over and over again to where they start to build that confidence. So I think he's one of those guys. They didn't draft him for no reason.
Right.
He's a smart kid. He balled out in college. Now you got to come do it on the pros, but you need the opportunity. He's getting it now. Time to run with it.
You know what I think Trey Taylor's biggest fault is, and you may totally disagree with this, is he has such a high standard for himself.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, going from FCS to NFL is hard. Going from the Air Force Academy, that's not SEC football.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden he gets to this level.
Yeah.
Everybody's good.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good, Trey. We appreciate it. Meet Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Okay, Trey. Hey, guess what? You're good. Meet Jakobi Meyers. And I think he thinks and presses so hard because he knows the standard he has for himself.
Yeah.
That almost I think he overthinks it a little bit. And he just needs to get back to being the kid playing in mom's backyard.
I think that would fit the MO of how smart he is intellectually, right? Sometimes you're so smart, you're overthinking. And then obviously overthinking on the football field is, that's the difference between making a tackle and not making a tackle. That's the difference between being on first and second and third string. So, yes, I think that is very accurate. I think it goes hand in hand with one of the reasons he was drafted, which was his intelligence, his ability to think through things. But sometimes that can be, and I think that just comes with being a rookie and being a younger player. Once you started being in the league 2, 3, 4 years, start thinking a little bit less, playing a lot more.
What I think is funny about him is he holds himself to such a high standard that sometimes the standard is a little bit not reality.
Yeah.
I like guys like
I was about to say,
you want your daughter to marry a guy
like that. You gotta, because shoot for the stars. So if you don't make it, you land on the cloud, right? So that's kind of the same concept. You have to
shoot for the stars.
So if you fall, you shoot for the clouds. One of the two.
Shoot for the stars. So if you miss, you land on the cloud.
Boom, boom.
We're just going to start the podcast. Hallmark cards. Wisdom thoughts with Zeke.
Hallmark cards, right here.
All right, let's talk about a guy who I said I have him as my starting DT1 next to Adam Butler, and that's Thomas Booker. I'm telling you something. Jacorian Bennett struggled, made some plays but struggled. Looked good last year until he was hurt. But this camp, OTA's mini camp, didn't do a whole lot. Thomas Booker's come in and said, well, I don't know what the guy you traded for me did, but I'm him.
Yeah.
And wowza.
And he did it from the first time he took the field, the practice field with these guys. You're looking, you're like, what number is that guy? Bring out the roster. Oh, that's Booker. Okay, so literally the very first time he dressed up for the Raiders and they were running drills, you could see, okay, he's stout in the middle as well, just like Adam Butler is. So I'm excited to see what Booker does. I think he's going to be another pleasant surprise because they need somebody that they can depend on next to Adam in the interior defensive line. I think Booker's going to be a huge addition, especially because you got him for a cornerback that
didn't want.
Thank you.
And you picked up a starter.
Yes.
All right. Y'all need to just give Spytek a little plaque for his wall here.
Hey, shout out to John Spytek.
You remember when you were in high school and you had your varsity jacket and you had all your medals?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember everyone would say, Hondo, you're clinking. Okay. Spytek, Raider Nation needs to just give him a medal. Okay. And it just needs to have Thomas Booker's face superimposed over Jacorian Bennett. Yeah. You did that.
You did it. It was a shrewd move. And again, it's all relative, right? Like they just were not planning on using Jacorian this year. So you go from
No. Can I disagree on one thing?
Yeah.
It wasn't that they weren't planning on it.
Like he had
Jacorian wasn't performing at a level that they could plan.
Yeah. Like
it wasn't like they picked on him.
Oh no, not at all. But like all the way around, like he just wasn't. They weren't going to get much use out of Jacorian this year. To go from that to a contributor at a position of need, huge.
Last one.
Yes, sir.
We talk about him every freaking day. Alex Bachman. I mean,
let him loose.
Okay, let him loose. I'm just going to tell you something. I thought Colin was making a little bit of a move after today. There's separation now. It's not going to be a one practice and Colin gets back. No. Alex Bachman.
Alex is nice, man.
I'm telling you.
At this point, I'm rooting for the guy. He's nice, man.
Nice. He made a play today, and Aiden just put the ball in a perfect spot. I mean, a perfect throw. And even with a perfect throw, it was going to be a very hard catch for Bachman. And one thing that Chip Kelly preaches is, I'm okay with incompletes, but take a shot and put the ball where only your receiver can get it, or don't throw it. And Bachman goes up, twists,
Mhm.
and going down, catches it. And another player with the 49er looked down and just went,
Now, what can you listen? And that's the face I make every day when he makes another play.
this goes back to Trey Taylor, though. Sometimes as a defensive back, you do everything right.
Yeah.
And you can't.
Yeah.
Just because a guy made a catch doesn't mean the defensive back did a bad job.
Yeah.
I told you about that Brock Bowers play.
Mhm.
That defensive back played it
great.
like an all-pro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brock's just like, well, you're an all-pro. And
I'm Bowers.
man, I'm a fighting man. You ever heard that song?
I think so.
I'm a man. I'm the man.
Yeah.
I'm a fine man.
Yeah.
And Brock's like, yeah, you're good. And I'm Brock Bowers. All right. Listen, everybody, appreciate you. So thankful for you. Going to have a big day tomorrow. Don't miss tomorrow's podcast. And then don't forget the big game coming up on Saturday. Lots of great stuff. Remember, si.com/NFL/Raiders. Nobody covers your Raiders better. 15 to 20 stories a day, videos, podcasts, everything. Check it all out. We'll see you there. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.